Hello, good morning. Sunday morning, 8 a.m. I've just had breakfast and I thought of my thought for the day. I was talking to an American who's just come to the country, and he was telling me how he heard about an English guy who's living here in the Philippines, probably, I don't know, 8, 9 years now. He was he got involved with a Filipino lady, as they do, and they bought a house together. They got a piece of land and they built a very nice single-story home. I think it was if I remember rightly, I think he said it was in a subdivision. So it obviously was a nice location, maybe. But things didn't turn out quite how we wanted because they finally split. Now, of course, being a hot-headed American, he told me this as a warning, maybe. But the English guy was also hot-headed. Kind of, you know the guys that drive around cursing and swearing at everybody, and as they drive along the road, always everybody else's fault. You know the kind. And sadly, this guy, the relationship went pear-shaped. Now, of course, he thought he knew better. He thought it was just a case of paying for the land that the lady had bought in her name, naturally, because she's a Filipino. And he built a nice home on it. Hello, hello, problem number one. It's okay if you stay with the person and you get to become old and live in the home together. That's no problem. But it's not always the case. Often you get into the relationship and then realize that it's really not going to work. And that's where the biggest problem starts, because we as foreigners invest our money in what we believe to be a stable relationship. And by doing so, we, I suppose, turn caution to the wind and we go and pour all our hard-earned retirement money into building a home. Fortunately for the English guy, he has plenty of money. He has millions of pesos. We're talking 30, 40 million in the bank. So he did quite well with his own retirement fund. So it's not like he is really going to suffer that much. I believe that the house he was building or built was maybe land and house, maybe 6, 8 million pesos. So selling the land for a couple of million to keep the ex happy, you could call it compensation. Now, of course, he doesn't see it that way. He sees it as, she's not going to take me to the cleaners. Problem number one, you'll never win. The main reason is two. It takes a long time to get a case before a judge here in the Philippines. The wheels need to be greased quite a lot to get that to happen. And also, more importantly, how long has he got before he runs out of steam? And does he really want to spend the rest of his life festering away at the thought that she's not going to get it and he's going to win the argument? I don't think so. But stepping on, he's done it again. He's gone out and found himself another lady, the love of his life. Been together a couple of years now, and apparently everything is great. Still got his millions in the bank. Maybe a few tucked away in a joint account, but the rest is safely away, hidden away in his own name somewhere else. So What does he do? He builds an apartment block for her children to live in. Great, great attitude, great idea. Again, the land owned by his new girlfriend. What happens then? The family move in. When I say the family, all the children, they're set up for life, that's for sure. No rent to pay and security of knowing they've got somewhere to live. And for him and his new girlfriend, they buy themselves a little flat somewhere, or what would you call it, like a townhouse. And they happily get on with life. The only problem is, life isn't always as smooth as he thinks. If he spent a bit of time remembering what the last reasons were, maybe he might realize that money can't buy you love, can't buy you loyalty, can't buy you many things. But all it will do is buy you a lot of headaches, certainly here in the Philippines. If you think that you're going to somehow control that money once you've spent it, think again. After all, she can say, goodbye, farewell, I'm going my way, you can go yours. And what can you do? Oh, I'll bring a case, I'll get my penny's worth back. No, you won't, because she will say that it's her land. And what will a judge say? If you're lucky, best case scenario, he'll say, well, you have to sell it. Oh, right, okay. Well, we all know how properties can stay in the name of families for generations just because one person refuses to sign the documents. What can you do? Go back to court. Again, more money. You know, it will be so simple so that he can get his money out of the other property from the first girlfriend. All he has to do is to cough up a couple of million and tell her to go on her way. Find a good lawyer who can do the transfer, and it's then in his second girlfriend's name. But then what happens if the second one fails? Who walks away with the gold? The second one. And he knows it. The point is, there's a lesson to be learnt here. You know, if you're prepared to spend the money to make a future as you see it with your girlfriend, your wife, be prepared to say goodbye to it. It's not like in the West. You can think you're smart and you've got the legal tools in which to gain the access to get your money back. But my mother used to say, you can't get blood out of a stone. And I think the more people stop and realize that once you spend your money, that's it. And what makes things change here? Money. Now, I would have thought, as an English guy, he'd have enough common sense, surely, to realize he could make a lot of this disappear by just simply paying the first girlfriend. A couple of million, maybe give her 2.5, make her even more happy, or happier as the grammar is, and let her go on her way. Then he would have his house, and then he could sell the property. But again, he will have to ask the second girlfriend if that's okay. Maybe the second girlfriend would like to move into that house herself. Who knows? Who knows what a Filipina is really thinking then when she's in the driver's seat, when she has all the cards in her favor? Guys, there's a lot to be said now. Who thought I would say it? There's a lot to be said. Find a lady who's got a home on her own, in her own right. And if you're happy living there, stay there. Don't look at investing your money any further except on a good life. Have a good life, but don't have the headache of owning a property, because eventually you will all going to die. And sooner or later, we're going to have to face the reality that your kids in America, your kids in Australia or New Zealand or Europe, they're not going to benefit. The only one that's going to benefit is your Filipina friend. If you like my thought for the day, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and give us a thumbs up. Remember, PayPal's always there. Bye now.